Hello my dear students, we are dealing with chapter number 2, Is Matter Around Us Pure? In the first video, we learn about types of matter based on its chemical properties, that is pure substances and impure substances. Impure substance is also called as mixture. When two or more elements or compounds mix together physically in any proportion, then that substance is known as mixture. Components of mixture have their own physical properties. As there is no chemical reaction, so each component retain its properties. As we know, there are two types of mixtures, homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. In homogeneous mixture, components are uniformly distributed throughout the mixture, and in heterogeneous mixture, the components are unevenly mixed with each other. Heterogeneous mixture can be separated into their respective constituents by simple physical methods like hand picking, filtration, etc. that we use in our day-to-day life. Sometimes special techniques have to be used for the separation of the components of mixture. In this video, we shall learn about different methods of separation of mixtures. The process of separating the constituents of mixture by physical method is known as separation of mixture. We can separate the heterogeneous mixtures into their constituents by means of physical methods. The method to be used for separation depends on the nature of its constituents. We will consider the three cases, three type of mixture, that is mixture of solid-solid, mixture of solid and liquid, and mixture of two liquids. If we are having mixture of two solids, then we can use any method, like by using a suitable solvent we can separate the two solids, by the process of sublimation, by using a magnet. Separation of mixture of solid and liquid can be carried out by different processes such as by filtration, centrifugation, evaporation, crystallization, chromatography, or by the distillation. So let's start with the first process, that is evaporation. Evaporation is the process which is used to separate a solid substance dissolved in liquid. So in this process, one solid substance is dissolved in the liquid and we can separate out it by this particular process. It is based on the fact that liquids vaporizes easily whereas solid do not. We can see in this diagram we have taken mixture of salt and water. Salt is solid and it is a solute and water is solvent. Water is volatile substance. It will vaporize as we will provide heat, then it will vaporize, and at the bottom of this evaporating dish we can obtain the crystals of salt. So this is the simple process which is used to separate solid which is dissolved in the liquid. So we can say that in evaporation, separation of mixture of a non-volatile and a volatile substance can take place. Activity 2.4 of your book. Fill half a beaker with water. Put a watch glass on the mouth of beaker. Put few drops of ink on the watch glass. Now start heating the beaker. We do not want to heat the ink directly. You will see the evaporation is taking place from the watch glass. You can see some vapors from the watch glass. What do you think has got evaporated from the watch glass? Yes, these are the vapors of water. And you will obtain a residue on the watch glass, and that residue is of ink. What you can interpret from this activity? See, we can interpret that ink is a mixture of a dye in water. So in this, dye is a solid substance and water is a liquid substance. Thus we can separate the volatile components from its non-volatile solute by the method of evaporation. Application obtaining salt from the sea water, separating color components from the ink. But remember, in evaporation, recovery of dissolved solid substance from liquid mixture is possible. We can obtain salt from that mixture, we can obtain sugar, we can obtain dye, but the liquid itself cannot be recovered. The liquid vaporizes and get lost into the air. So in evaporation, we can obtain solid substance only. Liquid get evaporates. Another method is centrifugation. It is a method of separating the suspended particles of substance from a liquid, in which the mixture is rotated at high speed in centrifuge. See, this machine is called as centrifuge. Centrifugation is the technique which is used to separate the suspended particles which cannot be filtered with the help of filter paper. So sometimes the solid particles are present in liquid which are very small, which cannot be filtered out with the help of filter paper. So to separate such suspended colloidal particles from that liquid, we are using centrifugation. In this centrifugation method, we are rotating that mixture at very high speed, and due to the centrifugal force, due to the difference in the particle density, the suspended particles get separate from the liquid. Centrifugation use centrifugal force for the separation of two liquids in a mixture. So here centrifugal force is used for the separation. We can define centrifugation as the process of separating suspended particles by churning the liquid at very high speed. The principle of this method is when a mixture is rotated very fast, the denser particles are forced to go to the bottom and the lighter particles stay at the top. So here the principle is what? When the mixture is centrifuged, mixture is rotated at very high speed, it is spin at very high speed. Due to the centrifugal force, the denser particles will settle at the bottom and lighter particles will float on the top. Application of this centrifugation is used in dairies to separate cream from milk. Students, you can see that in market we are getting variety of milk such as toned milk, full cream milk, double tone milk. This milk is formed by the process of centrifugation. So with the help of centrifugation, they are separating cream from the milk. Also, in our day-to-day life, we can see that it is used, the centrifugation process is used in washing machines to squeeze water from the wet clothes. So during spinning, the water is drained out from the clothes by the centrifugation process. Also, you can see this process in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine test. Next is separating funnel. It is used to separate a mixture of two immiscible liquids. So if the two liquids are not miscible with each other, then to separate such liquids, we can use separating funnel. This is the separating funnel which is having this top clock. So we are taking mixture in this separating funnel. As these two liquids are immiscible, means these are not mixing with each other thoroughly, it forms two separate layers. For example, oil and water. In mixture of oil and water, we can see that oil floats on the surface and surface of the water. So we can easily see the two separate layers of two liquids, oil and water. We can drain out water as it is density of water is more than the oil, so that oil is present on the water surface, upper layer is of oil as it is low dense, and the bottom layer is of water as it is having density more than the oil. We can easily drain the water with the help of stop clock, and we can separate the two liquids. Principle of separating funnel is what? When a mixture of two immiscible liquid is kept in separating funnel, the liquids separate out in layers depending on their densities. Low density will be the top layer and more denser will be the bottom layer. We can separate out the bottom layer and separation can be possible. Application of this separating funnel is to separate oil and water. Also, it is used in the extraction of iron from its ore, where the lighter slag is what? Molten waste material is removed from the top by to leave the molten iron at the bottom of the blast furnace. Next is sublimation. This method is used to separate those components from a mixture which can be sublime on heating. We know the sublime substances, the substances which can convert directly from solid phase directly to the gaseous phase without changing into liquid phase. So the sublime substances means substances which get converts from solid state to the gaseous state without converting to the liquid state. So if we are having the mixture which contains sublime substance, then when we will provide heat to such substances, then sublime substance will get convert into the gaseous form and we obtain the another solid. For example, ammonium chloride, camphor, naphthalene can be separated by their mixture by sublimation. As I told, sublimation is the transition of substance from solid phase to gaseous phase, or the change of substance from solid to gas directly without changing into liquid phase. Application of sublimation: iron can be separated from a mixture of iron fillings and camphor. So here camphor is volatile substance. When we will provide heat to this mixture, camphor will get sublime and we can obtain the iron fillings. Common salt can be separated from a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. See, in this we have taken the mixture of ammonium chloride and salt. In this ammonium chloride is sublime substance, and one inverted funnel is kept on that mixture. It is sealed with this cotton plug here. As we will provide heat to this mixture, the volatile substance, the sublime substance ammonium chloride will get converted into the vapors. Those vapors will get condensed on the walls of funnel and we can easily separate two substances, that is ammonium chloride and the salt. So this is sublimation process. Next is chromatography. This method is used to separate two or more dissolved solids which are present in a solution in very small quantities. So whenever we are having two or more solids dissolve in same solvent, in single solvent, then we can separate those two or more solids which are dissolved in the same solvent. Principle of chromatography is what? This method of separation is based on the fact that though two substances are dissolved in the same solvent, but their solubilities can be different. The components which is more soluble rises faster and get separated from the mixture. So though this is the mixture of two or more solids dissolved in same solvent, but each solid substance is having different solubility. For example, one is more soluble, another one is less soluble. So based on this solubility, we can easily separate the components by the process of chromatography. There are different types of chromatography: paper chromatography, gas chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography. This diagram is of paper chromatography. Now what you have to do? See, we will see the activity 2.7. I will suggest you to read all these activities of your book. Now see activity 2.7. What you have to do? Take a thin strip of filter paper. Draw a line on it using a pencil approximately 3 cm above the lower edge, like this. Put a small drop of ink at the center of line. Let it dry. Lower the filter paper into the beaker containing water so that the drop of ink on the paper is just above the water level. So don't dip that spot of ink into the water. Just put it in such way that it will be just above the water level as shown in figure. Watch carefully as the water rises up on the filter paper. Record your observation. What do you observe on the filter paper as water rises on it? So as water rises up, the ink particles also rise with it. You will observe that as water is rising up, the ink particles will also rise with the water level. Do you obtain different colors on the filter paper strip? Yes, after this activity you will obtain different spots of different color on the filter paper. What according to you can be the reason for the rise of colored spot on the paper? See, the ink that we use has water as the solvent and dye is soluble in it. As water rises on the filter paper, it takes along with it the dye particles. So with water, the dye particles which are present in ink will rise up. Usually a dye is mixture of two or more colors, and the color components that is more soluble in water rises faster. In this way the colors get separated. So that dye is made up of two or more components and solubility of each component is different, and due to this we can obtain such 2-3 spots on the filter paper. This process of separation of components of a mixture is known as chromatography. Chroma is a Greek word. It means color. This technique was first used for separation of colors, and so name is given as chromatography. Chromatography is the technique used for separation of those solutes that dissolve in the same solvent. So remember, chromatography is used for the solutes which are dissolved in the same solvent. With the advancement in technology, as I told you, newer technology of chromatography have been developed. There are different types of chromatography: gas chromatography, liquid chromatography, high performance liquid chromatography, etc. Now see the applications of chromatography. It is used to separate colors in dyes, by paper chromatography, to separate drugs from the blood. Also, we can use this method for the separation of pigments from the natural colors. We can separate the chlorophyll from the leaves. We can separate the natural colors from the natural pigments. Next method is distillation. This method is used to separate a mixture of liquid in a liquid. So this method is used for two miscible liquids, the two liquids which can mix thoroughly with each other. It is the process of heating the liquid to form vapor and then cooling the vapor to get back liquid. So in this method we are heating that mixture, and the one of two liquid will get vaporized. We can collect those vapors, and in this process we can obtain both the liquids. We can separate both the components of that mixture. It is used for the separation of components of mixture containing two miscible liquids that boil without decomposition. So in evaporation we saw that when we are providing heat, water or the solvent, it lost in air, but in distillation we can separate two miscible liquids and both can be recovered. It is a method for separating component substances from liquid mixture by selective evaporation and condensation. So here we are using two techniques. One is evaporation, another one is condensation. Condensation means cooling the vapors and converting that gaseous vapors into liquid form. Principle of distillation: the volatile liquid evaporates on heating, which can be recovered by cooling its vapors by the process of condensation. In this method, we are taking a distillation flask. This round bottom flask is called as distillation flask. For example, see activity 2.8. Let us try to separate acetone and water from their mixture. So we have taken mixture of acetone and water in this round bottom flask or distillation flask. Fit it with a thermometer. Here we have taken the thermometer. Arrange the apparatus as shown in figure. Heat the mixture slowly, keeping a close watch at the thermometer. The acetone vaporizes, condenses in the condenser and can be collected from the condenser outlet. Water is left behind in the distillation flask. So as you will provide heat to this mixture, the boiling point of acetone is 56 degrees Celsius. So as the temperature reach to the 56 degrees Celsius, you can see the vapors of acetone. Pass those vapors, or in this assembly, the vapors will pass through the condenser. In the condensers, the temperature will lower down and the vapors will get converted. Condensation takes place, vapors get converted into the liquid form, and in this beaker you will obtain acetone and water will remain in the distillation flask. So this is the method which is used to separate miscible liquids. This method is called distillation. It is used for the separation of components of mixture containing two miscible liquids. Now see applications of distillation. It is used to remove salt from seawater to obtain drinking water. Also, production of gasoline. We are using different fractions of gasoline. We are carrying out this distillation of that gasoline to obtain different fractions such as petrol, diesel. Here we can use the fractional distillation method also to obtain distilled water in laboratories. To separate xylene, alcohol, paraffin, this distillation process is used. See fractional distillation. It is the process of separating two or more miscible liquids by distillation. The distillate being collected in fractions due to boiling point at different temperatures. Now what is the difference between distillation and fractional distillation? When we want to separate a mixture of two or more miscible liquids for which the difference in boiling point is less than 25 degrees Celsius. So if there are two liquids mixed together and their difference in boiling point is less than 25 degrees Celsius, then we are using this fractional distillation method. And if the difference in boiling point is more than 25 degrees Celsius, then we can use simple distillation. For example, the separation of different gases from air is carried out with the help of fractional distillation. Second thing where we can use this fractional distillation is the different fractions from petroleum products can be obtained. To obtain petrol, diesel, naphtha from the petroleum products, this fractional distillation is used. In this fractional distillation, we are using fractionating column. So this column as fractionating column. Rest all apparatus are similar as simple distillation. This fractionating column is fitted in between distillation flask and the condenser. A simple fractionating column is a tube packed with glass beads. So this is a simple fractionating column which is a glass tube having number of glass beads in this. The beads provide surface for the vapors to cool and condense rapidly. So as there is less difference between boiling point, so this glass bead act as a surface for vapors to cool and condense rapidly. See the principle of fractional distillation. In a mixture of two or more miscible liquids, the separation of various liquids depend on their boiling points. The liquid having lower boiling point boils first and can be obtained first from the fractionating column than the liquid having higher boiling point. Application of this fractional distillation is, it is used to separate mixture of miscible liquids like alcohol and water, because the difference between alcohol and water in their boiling point is less than 25 degrees Celsius. For example, the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius and that of alcohol is 78 degrees Celsius. It is used to separate crude oil, that is petroleum, into useful fractions such as kerosene, petrol, diesel, naphtha, etc. It is used to separate different gases of air by taking the liquid air. So, by increasing pressure and decreasing temperature, we can convert gaseous air into liquid air, and by the fractional distillation, each fraction can be separated. We can obtain oxygen, we can obtain nitrogen from that liquid air with the help of fractional distillation. So this is the setup which will show you how the fractional distillation of air can be obtained. Air is a homogeneous mixture and can be separated into its components by fractional distillation. See, this is the inlet of air. By increasing high pressure and decreasing temperature, that air can be liquefied. Compressed air is allowed to expand and air is liquefied. Liquefied air is passed into this fractionating column and we can obtain nitrogen gas, oxygen gas. Again we can obtain our carbon dioxide because in the solid form, because carbon dioxide is a sublime substance. Carbon dioxide get converts into dry ice at minus 56.6 degree Celsius. And then in expansion jet liquid air comes, then we can separate nitrogen, oxygen, argon from the liquefied air. Okay. Next method is crystallization. Crystallization is a process used to separate pure solid in the form of its crystals from a solution. So to obtain pure crystals, we can use the process of crystallization. The process involves cooling a hot concentrated solution of a substance to obtain crystals. The crystallization method is used to purify solid. For example, the salt we get from seawater can have many impurities in it. So to remove these impurities, the process of crystallization is used. Crystallization is a process that separates pure solid in the form of its crystals from a solution. Activity 2.9. What we have to do? Take some approximately 5 gram impure sample of copper sulfate in china dish. It is CuSO4, copper sulfate. Dissolve it in minimum amount of water. Filter the impurities. So the suspended impurities, large impurities can be filtered out. Evaporate water from the copper sulfate solution so as to get a saturated solution. So evaporate excess of water from that solution, then you will obtain the saturated solution. This copper sulfate solution is saturated now. Now cover the solution with filter paper and leave it undisturbed at room temperature. So as you have provided heat, then saturation takes place. You can check the saturation by using glass rod. So if you will put the glass rod in that solution, if it is saturated, take out that glass rod. When it become cool down, then you will observe the crystals stick to the glass rod. Those crystals are of copper sulfate. You will obtain crystals of copper sulfate in the china dish when you will cover that and leave it for 2-3 days. And this process is called as crystallization. See, what do you observe in the china dish? We will observe the crystals of copper sulfate in the china dish. Do the crystals look alike? Yes. Up to some extent, most of the crystals are alike. How will you separate crystals from the liquid in the china dish? But still there is little amount of water is present. How we can separate it? We will use filter paper and we will spread those crystals on that filter paper so that the excess water will get absorbed by the filter paper and you will obtain dried crystals of copper sulfate solution. So blue color crystals you will obtain by the process of crystallization, and all these are the pure crystals of copper sulfate. So this crystallization is the process which gives you pure solid in the form of crystal. So now see, this crystallization technique is better than simple evaporation technique. If we will carry out evaporation, so in that we are evaporating water from that substance, from that mixture. In this process, many times the volatile substance or some substances may get decomposed, or sugar like substance may get burned, get charred. This will not happen in crystallization because we are not evaporating water, we are just making it as a saturated solution and then we are cooling that saturated solution to obtain the crystal. Another advantage of this crystallization method is what? Some impurities may remain dissolved in the solution even after filtration. So when we filter, then some suspended impurities can be separated out, but dissolved impurities remain in that solution only. And on evaporation, these contaminate the solid. Then the solvent will get evaporate and dissolved impurities will remain in the form of residue. But in case of crystallization, this will not take place. Soluble impurities can easily separate out. With the excess of water, it can be removed. Application is what? Purification of common salt obtained from seawater, separation of crystals of alum from impure samples, and to obtain pure copper sulfate from an impure sample. So all these are the different methods for the separation of components of mixture. By choosing one of the above method according to nature of components of mixture, we get a pure substance. In every city, drinking water is supplied from waterworks. A flow diagram of a typical waterwork is given in your book. See figure 2.13. From this figure, we can see different methods are used to purify the water, such as I will suggest you to see the diagram 2.13 of your book. Water is present in the reservoir, then that water is supplied, it is transported to the sedimentation tank to allow solids to settle. So here decantation process is used or sedimentation process is used. In this sedimentation tank, solid sediments, solid particles will get settled down. Then the water will pass to the second tank, that is loading tank, to sediment the suspended impurities. So it will allow suspended solids to settle down in the sedimentation tank. So here the more time is given for water to get settled so that the suspended impurities can be separated out. Next is filtration tank. Here we can use sand filter for the absorption of impurities. Here sand filter is there, which is having gravels, coarse substance, sand to separate the impurities. So here the very fine impurities will get absorbed. Water is allowed to sprinkle on this sand filter and the impurities will attach to the sand filter and water will transported to the chlorination tank. Here bleaching powder is used for the chlorination, and chlorination is the process in which the bacteria or germs are killed and then water is transported to residential area for the drinking purpose. So this is different methods to separate components of mixture. Hope you understood all the processes. With this we have completed our lesson number 2, is matter around us pure. Thank you and have a nice day.